The biggest, such as tuna, are at the tops of food chains unless they are caught by humans. Then one of them may turn up in your tuna fish sandwich. Both the tuna and you are part of a food chain that began with a tiny green plant. Food chains are found wherever life is found. The far south of the world, Antarctica, is icy and bitterly cold for much of the year. But in summer, its seas come alive. The water is rich with tiny green plants. They are fed on by tiny animals, and these are fed on by small animals, such as krill, which looks like shrimp. All these animals and plants are food for bigger animals, such as fish and squid. Many other animals come to feast in these waters. There are seals, whales, and dolphins. There are many seabirds, among them penguins. All the animals are linked to the tiny green plants. The drawing shows a web of food chains at the far south of the world. The arrows show who eats what. Follow the arrows to find the animals that feed on krill. One of them is the blue whale, the biggest animal on Earth. Find the animals that eat krill. Sometimes people talk about catching krill for human food, but what would happen to the food web if fishermen took huge catches of krill each year? To find out, look at the drawing again. Humans often make changes in food chains and webs. Then they find that one change causes other changes. That was what happened when hunters killed nearly all the Pacific sea otters. The otters lived off the west coast of North America. They lived in beds of giant seaweed called kelp. Every year, thousands of otters were killed for their fur. By the early 1900s, almost none were left. But as the otters disappeared, so did beds of kelp, and so did eagles, harbor seals, and fish. What had happened? The answer lay in the kelp. Kelp is the green plant at the start of many food chains. It is eaten by tiny animals that are eaten by bigger animals that are eaten by fish. The fish are food for eagles and seals as well as people. Kelp is also eaten by spiny animals called sea urchins. In eating, they may cut off stems at the sea floor. The kelp then floats away. Sea urchins are one of the foods otters like best. But when hunters killed the otters, there was no one to eat the urchins. The urchins destroyed the kelp beds. Once the hunting stopped, the otters made a comeback. They ate the sea urchins, and the kelp began to do well. When the kelp did well, the fish came back, and so did the eagles, seals, and fishermen. All over the world, green plants and animals are linked in food chains that branch into food webs. A change in one link is felt up and down that chain. It is felt through the whole web. And that's one good reason to take care of the earth, to take care of its plants and animals. When we help them, we also help ourselves. We too are part of many food webs.